Hi. Well, it doesn't go to me live. Oh, shoot. Well, there it is. Hi, welcome to Filmmaker IQ Live. I don't know see anybody on there. Let's see my public here. So, hey, what's going on? All right. So, today I am going to kind of talk through some of the things I've got going on. December is going to be a wild ride for me here in the coming weeks. Usually get somebody in here. Let's see here. Just take a look. Well, I guess I'll just chat until we get some folks riding in here. All right, so December becomes a pretty crazy schedule. Oh, there's Jack. How you guys doing? So there are some people here. Just trying to see. My analytics is not keeping track. Hey, there's some Rigel7 and Thomas Hines is here, but my chat is not. Let me reboot my thingy. Maybe it's. Oh, there we go. 10 concurrent. Okay, now we're getting some people here. Yeah, December is going to be like crazy busy for me. Well, at least the first 2 weeks of December will be. I've got tomorrow. I'm heading up to Merced to do a grand opening for a restaurant, or actually a revamp model. A lady I know that owns a bunch of Sizzlers, and they have to remodel all their Sizzlers. So they're doing one in Merced tomorrow, which I'm going to be driving up to. Well, at least I hope so. I was hired to it. I haven't heard the details, but Thanksgiving got in the way of that. I will be doing. Oh shoot! Why isn't this thing not populating? Oh, that's why. Turn that on. Hit OK. I can pull your chats up here, and then so that's tomorrow. Then this next Saturday is a um, big giant parade that I am live streaming, which is going to be like every single technique possible, all the equipment. Do I remember any old Soviet movies? I do not. Well, Battleship Potemkin. There you go. That's an old Soviet movie. Um, but anyhow, so Saturday is a what did I say? Oh yeah, parade. So I'll be out there for I'll be like at least 16 hours of my day. That'll be nuts. So I gotta figure out the sound system. Yep, won't pay out. Not focus. 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 Uh, it's not focusing. Hold on. Focus. There it goes. Focus. There we go. So yeah, I've got that. Zoom in. Oh, that's too close. We'll zoom out. I got to work on a couple videos. I got to get done. One for Scott's Miracle Grow. I've got to get. I've got Student of the Month coming up in Thursday. I'm playing my zoom control and I'm not getting it quite right. If I zoom out, you can see a little more of my messy room. Um, there we go. Something like that. Let's go with that. There's Batman. Student of the month is Thursday. Next week I've got two student of the months in the same day, plus a city council meeting. I've got at least two concerts I've got to record in the first 2 weeks of December, and then I go on a little trip, and then we get to go on a little trip, and then I get to relax, but then I have to come back to the student of the month, and then it's Christmas, and then nothing for at least a month or so, or a week. What format are you going to shoot? 70 millimeter anamorphic or digital 4K? I don't, you know, well, the stuff I shoot is all going to be 1080. I'm not even bothered with 4K. I honestly, unless you're doing a movie, there's literally no point in shooting 4K. Like for industrial videos and stuff like that, absolutely no. And even for like live streaming, absolutely no reason to shoot 40 millimeter or 40 millimeter. Also, no reason to be shooting 4K. It would be sweet just to once to shoot a movie in real IMAX 70 millimeter. I don't know. I think honestly, if I'm going to be really honest, I think shooting a real IMAX 70 millimeter would be a pain in the butt because if do you know how loud those things are? They are like It sounds like it sounds like a lawnmower. It's like literally a lawnmower on a jib, arm, and it's like if you've ever watched any of those behind the scenes of 70 millimeter films, it's oppressively loud. So to me, it's fine for like a landscape shots, but like if you're doing an intimate scene in a 70 millimeter, it's like going the whole time, I would find that extremely distracting. And I realize, that a lot of people work with that, but yeah, I can't be any louder. Well, I don't know because I think the movies that were shot on Wizard of Oz had humongous sound absorbing, you know, uh, encasements full of further sound. But then again, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, the Technicolor thing was three motors going. So honestly, I don't know. I don't think I would like it to shoot a 70 millimeter IMAX film. I think it'd just be too damn loud. Yeah, actors might hate it. I imagine so. Let's see if we can find. Let's see if we can. They can pull up a YouTube video of IMAX camera behind the scenes. Let's see what we find up on that. The loud sound of IMAX. You can hear that sound. I don't know if you guys can hear that sound effect. If I just go to, I don't know if you guys can hear that at all. I mean, it's just like it sounds like a. I don't think you can hear that. Yeah, I don't think you can hear that, but it sounds like look up loud sound of IMAX 70 miller rolling. It just sounds like a lawnmower. It's incredibly annoying. So I could see why it wouldn't be fun to shoot that thought. I like digital. I would love to shoot film. Don't get me wrong. I would love to just have the experience of shooting film. I just like shooting digital. I think digital is fun to shoot. I mean, I'm fine shooting stuff in digital. That's the thing. I've always been a digital guy. I've actually never shot film in my life. At least not motion picture film, right? So, anyhow, my concurrent viewers are going down. Oh well. So, yeah, I've got all these projects lined up. I am also in the process of fixing my front yard. So the front yard's going to get overturned, overhauled, and broken up and redone. My shed in my backyard studio is about ready to go or it's about the permit's about ready to be finished. So I'm getting to that point. Um, so the permitting process is almost done. So we can do groundbreaking probably in the new year. Honestly, I don't think we're going to get started until next year. So yeah, you read my mind there, Thomas Hein. So that's in the process, and probably, like I said, probably be next year kind of thing. I spent all day today hanging Christmas lights and doing some gardening work today, and I am not. I am sore. For some reason, I'm just really sore. I guess being on a ladder does that to you. Hey, Helium Road, what's going on? Have I had lots of turkey? Oh yeah. So I discovered the process of smoking turkey on Turkey Thanksgiving, and I took it to my friend's house, and I think they said it was like one of their best turkeys. So, yeah, that's what they say. They say it's one of the best turkeys. That's what everyone tells me. Oh, just kidding. But no, it was good. It was smoked turkey is definitely the way to go. Spatchcock and spatchcock and smoking it. I mean, I suppose you could literally cook it in the oven for at 250. It works well too, but spatchcocking and it took about 4.5 hours to do a 13-pound turkey. It's in the smoker, and it tasted like the white meat was so tender. It was like I don't know how to. It was like a rotisserie chicken. It's like how moist and tender it was. So it was really cool. So I made that. I have plans to make a pastrami brisket. I got a full brisket, and yeah, the new studio shed. Hopefully, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be happening. So the plan is for a brisket on for my Christmas trip. I used to take a bunch of the guys to go to Idlewild, which is a mountain town in California, and it's one of the it's to me it's like the last like inexpensive place in California to go during wintertime because it's not really near any major ski resorts. So there's Big Bear, there's Arrowhead, Lake Arrowhead, and places like that, but those are like expensive because they're near skiing. Whereas Idlewild is just like more of a country arts colony town, and I like it because it is just like relaxed and nothing. I mean, there's just so we're just gonna go hang out. I'm gonna go hang out for like 3 nights, 4 nights, something like that. 3 nights, 4 days, and except I have to come back for one day of work, one morning. I think I gotta do a student of the month program. But it's kind of my way to end the year, you know. And I invite my friends, and my friends are like, well, you need to schedule it for when we're all like, well. I try to schedule before Christmas because I know everyone doesn't want to do Christmas, and I want to schedule between Christmas and New Year's because that's always a weird time. And you just kind of want to just like do nothing during that time. And I don't want to schedule it in like the New Year because get back to work, you lazy bums. So it's always going to be sometime before Christmas. I always do it like the week before Christmas. Next year I might do it like the weekend before Christmas because Christmas is like on a Monday or Tuesday or something like that. But anyhow, so yeah, that's my plan to do. So that's my annual Idlewild trip. I'm going to take a brisket. Just going to go and chill and watch maybe some terrible movies. By the way, so the last movie on our bad movie night was Aerobicide. Aerobicide. Um, Aerobicide is quite an amazing bad movie. We watched the week before we watched Death Spa, and so we followed it up this week with Aerobicide. Now, of the two, I would say Aerobicide is the better, more entertaining movie in that it's just dumb, and it's got a lot of shots of women doing aerobics in the late 80s. So I mean, it's practically a porno. Put that in your quote, Rigel 7. Make that a out of context quote. It's practically a porno. It's practically a porno without the bad acting or no, without the nudity. Without the nudity and the physical act of making love, as Jack D. Ripper would. The physical act of love, whatever that line is from the Doctor Strange. All right. There are two bald eagles I watch at a nest in Big Bear named Jackie and Shadow. That's cool. Weather conditions in Big Bear are wicked. Oops. They're wicked. Wicked. No one mourns the wicked. All right, I won't say that. Okay, so there, I saw on X today. Tim Pool go ahead and like tweeted this one a Revo lady who said that so basically said that there is no the sh- her playing Alphaba as a queer black woman gives her a unique approach to the character. At least that's kind of what it came. I think she was trying to say. She was trying to say that being her as a queer black woman, take that out of context there, Rigel 7. I as a queer black woman, um, like it gives her a unique perspective in playing Elphaba, right? And so, but I think it came off as I can only play this because I'm a queer black woman. Now, okay, I get what she's saying. However, I think they need to calm down the press tour a little bit because like everybody that came on there like after this the quote tweet is like I'm never going to see this movie. I'm never going to see this movie because it's all this woke nonsense. It's like yeah, like the actors of course are doing what they're doing, but I don't think the movie is at all considered woke. I mean, it might be considered progressive, like as far as like the actual like message of it is the old fashioned liberalism of treat people with respect. But my God, it's just so people are so up in arms about the stuff. It's like they just need to cool it down a little bit. But then again, it's like they're going to make all the money because the people that are going to see this movie aren't going to like care that she said stuff like that. But anyhow, it's just getting annoying. Like people are like, I'm not going to see this movie because she said that. It's like whatever. Like if you haven't seen the movie yet, you're probably not going to see it anyway. What are you going to watch? You're going to watch Mufasa 2 or Mufasa? What are your options? Gladiator 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I was going to those with my friend. Like, what are your movie options this Christmas? Mufasa, uh, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Gladiator 2, or Wicked. And of all those, like Wicked's probably the most probably at least the one I would most interested in seeing because the other two are like more franchise stuff. Is it good? Is it good as bad? So Aerobicide is also Killer Workout. That's the name of the actual name of the movie is Aerobicide, but it's also called Killer Workout. And So yeah, like if you watch the movie itself, it says aerobicide. I think the reason they did is like it's the same thing with Edge of Tomorrow, right? I think that's the exact same thinking they had in their heads. They're like, we wanted Tom Cruise to be in this movie, but we can't call it aerobicide because no one can spell that, so we have to call it Killer Workout. Nosferatu, I forgot about that one. Nosferatu, that should be something fun. Yeah, all the press conferences for Wicked are wild. You know, like okay, like I was watching another press interview where it's like Revo and Grande were like crying, and they're talking about how much they've been crying because they like guys, it's women. What do you want? I'm sorry. Like, you gotta let women be women for a little bit. And I think, I mean, I can just put myself in their position. I think for those two actresses to play those parts, and which is such a important, in the pantheon of musical theater, it's a very, very important roles for them to play. Let them cry. I get it. You know, there's a certain if you go to a musical, you got to expect a certain level of gayness. Like it's just gonna be inherent. And even the funny thing, I mean, the whole thing, Wicked, like there aren't really gay characters in Wicked, although they're saying that Elphaba and Galinda are gay, but they're not. I mean, there's a love triangle between her and the guy, and there's other girls are in love with other guy, and it's not really any gay characters except the fact that I guess they're all gay in the background. But I don't know, just accept. Like, who gives a crap? Like, who cares? Like, that's another drag up more YouTube drama. Like the whole thing with Destiny, I guess, came out with the leaked videos. It's like, and I was like looking at it. I was looking at the video, but I was reading like the commentary, and I'm like, all right, they're gay. Who cares? I don't care. They're gay coded. Everybody's yeah, whatever. Sure. I think they're just gay coded because it's a musical, so everything's gay coded. Those are not normal women. I mean, what I'm just saying is that you know, like you gotta remember, like Wizard of Oz has obviously a connection to the gays because of Over the Rainbow and Judy Garland, right? So it's all kind of connected, and being a part of Wicked for people that for these women are going to be like really it's powerful. It's powerful for them, and for them it's like a huge emotional impact to do this. Like, do you get it? No. If you're not into musicals, you may not get like why they're crying all the time. I mean, I get it. Like, it's huge. Like, imagine for a guy, like, what if you were to make, let's say you were tasked to be in a Batman movie, and then your Batman movie is beloved by a lot of your fans, and you have kids come up to you and saying, "Hey, I was really feeling miserable and alone, but I watched your Batman movie." And this analogy is sounding terrible. I watched your Batman movie, and I'm no longer feeling alone. Okay, I know I'm really pushing this analogy. So like as a dude, I think I would get like a high off of that. I'd be like, oh, cool, like what I did was really important, and that's just what what those actresses are feeling. I mean, they're getting a lot of love from fans. The movie's great, a lot of love for fans, and so like it got to accept that they're a little kooky. Okay, that's fine. I mean, they're actors. That's the way. There you go. Imagine Deadpool the musical. Joker was the musical, right? Deadpool the musical. I mean, Deadpool probably has musical numbers, right? I mean, they could easily do that. Hey, Bullet Silence, how you doing? Uh, let women be women and make a dang sandwich. Am I right? There's this weird Instagram girl on there. Have you seen this thing where it's like she's like, "Hey, do you want?" And she's cute. She's a cute girl, and she's like, look at the camera. Hey, honey, how about I make you a sandwich? And then it proceeds to her like making this amazing sandwich, and it's literally like she's going like, I'm gonna cure the bacon. I'm gonna do this, and she makes this. It's like a cooking show basically, of making this extreme sandwich. and it's just this weirdest like because she's cute, and you're like, oh, yeah, I do want a sandwich. That'd be nice. That'd be very nice. I got my like high school or middle school cup. I don't want to show off the middle school cup in case they get pissed off that I'm talking about gay people in musicals. Andre Schiller says, "Are you talking about musicals? The last one I saw was Carrie, and I really liked it." I got one comment that on my musical video where I said I did not like La La Land, and the guy like unsubscribed because he said, "You're stupid. You're a stupid face. Boo hoo. You're a stupid face. You suck balls. You don't like La La Land." I hate that freaking La La Land. Don't talk to me about La La Land. Do not start it. So I gotta say this because this bothered me, and this is the kind of thing that I'm. This is the kind of egomaniacal guy you're watching here. All right. Someone came on my because I recently got a little bit of play on my video about the wire bokeh oval in the in anamorphic lenses, right? And somebody went on there. You know what? I'm gonna read it to you. I just hate Damien Chazelle in general. I, I, I keep saying, Damien Chazelle is basically my evil twin brother. Like he has all my same passions, only he does everything terribly, and that's the problem. It's like it's one of those things. It's like you know how you know so much about that subject matter, and you want to do it your way, and he does the same subject matters. I mean, I haven't seen the astronaut movie, the what do you call it? The Apollo movie. So I don't know about that one. I haven't seen that. I might like that one, but everything else I hate of his. Well, not hate. Whiplash is okay. Whiplash is okay. It's just kind of dumb. I just hate La La Land, and I really hate Babylon, like with a fiery, burning passion. I want that movie to just be deleted from the history of. But I no, I don't want to delete the history because I want people to know how shitty that movie is. So I want it to live in its place. All right. So here's the comment that drove me nuts this week. It said, "Thanks for your thoughtful video, but wrong. The anamorphic oval is due to the difference in aperture, which is the width, millimeters or inches, perhaps furlongs, of optical passages viewed from the front of the objective. What it's not is the f number, the ratio focal length divided by aperture, which you seem to understand at 13, 15 or so. But do different focal lengths have different depths of field? For the same scene and camera position, the same picture size, aperture determines the focus blur and focal length does not. See Rudolph Kingstake, Optics and Photography, SPI, Optical Engineering Press, 1992, Chapter 5, Depth of Field, specifically the demo on page 91. I like that you present empirical evidence as an anamorphic adapter for a smartphone camera that shows an oval aperture yet does not induce oval bokeh. I don't have the same, so I did not repeat your observation, but I think I saw the flaw. The aperture and the issue is that the entire optical path, not just the adapter, might have to destroy a phone to test. Worth doing. Thanks again for the video, but as much as I disagree." Okay, don't tell me I'm wrong, because the thing about that is I'm never wrong. Hold on, my camera's getting more light, so I got to turn the. Let's bring the ISO down a little bit. You do not tell me I'm wrong when it comes to like depth of field. Just do not do it, because I am not wrong. Oops, no, I just need. What I need to do is I need to lower that. I'm just hitting that sun. Let me just get that real quick. Oh, it's going crazy. I'm over here, camera. Auto tracking is going nuts here. Yeah, do not tell me I'm wrong. All right, because I'm not wrong with depth of field. Every time I argue depth of field online with anybody that says this book says so and so, it's because they didn't understand what the book was saying. And oftentimes I'm saying pretty much the same thing as the book. It's just that they're missing a key factor. So the one thing I realized about this is, and there was and actually Gerald Undone, I guess, had this video about depth of field. He says that the only thing affecting is the entrance pupil and the distance. And the thing I just realized is focal length absolutely plays a value in depth of field. But the problem, or at least the hiddenness of it, is the entrance pupil, the size of the entrance pupil as viewed from the front of the camera lens, is actually determined by the focal length. So, if you take a actual aperture of whatever length, say, let's say 25 millimeter diameter aperture, and you put a 100 millimeter lens in front of it, that aperture will appear bigger because you have a high focal length in front of it versus like putting a 25 millimeter in front of that same exact physical aperture, right? And that's what the f number is. Okay, that's why the f number is so important, because it's the aperture, it's the physical size of the opening divided by the focal length. So that will give you approximation of like a relative aperture opening, right? So when you say that focal length has nothing to do with depth of field, you're missing the fact that the aperture, the size of the entrance pupil, actually can be determined by the focal length. So it's all, this is one of those things where if you don't really totally understand the topic, you get into these pedantic kind of arguments of like, well, it's not focal length. Focal length has nothing to do with it. Well, yes, it does. It absolutely does. Especially if you're talking about equivalent f numbers, because f numbers are, f numbers is how we talk. We don't ever talk about, oh, hey Jim, make that aperture 2.5 millimeters there. No, you tell them shoot f 2.2. Right. Anyhow, I need some more smoke beams for that sun to pass through. Yeah, I mean this place is kind of dusty enough. Yeah, most film lenses are t-stop, which is a mathematical equation to work out which is how much like. Yeah, so I mean t-stop is essentially f-stop multiplied by like the absorption of the lens itself. So it's not that far off, right? And then of course t-stops across different, I mean, you can just easily just use the t-stop rather than f-stop altogether. So the funny thing about this guy, and I responded to him, was like, yeah, your disagreement's incorrect. Focal length absolutely does affect the OF. It's defined in the DOF formulas, because the DOF formulas literally have focal length squared in them, because we're trying to no one ever talks about the actual size of the opening aperture. No one ever says, make that opening aperture 2 millimeters or 5 millimeters, 20 millimeters. No one says that. So we're always talking in f numbers. So we have to kind of tease out that f number, the focal length. So focal length does, of course. And then he goes, you, of course, for the same scene, the same camera, the same focal length, they'll show the same blah, 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 blah. But the whole thing about the whole anamorphic lenses for cell phones, like I actually explained in that video why anamorphic cell phone lenses do not have oval bokeh, because those anamorphic elements are afocal. They don't actually focus. They focus at infinity. So there's no resolving power at all. So basically you just have astigmatism right off the bat. They're not correcting for astigmatism. The correction for astigmatism help create that oval bokeh, right? Anyhow, here's what it bothered me. Like, don't tell me I'm wrong. Just don't tell me I'm wrong. You can argue a point, but if you want to say I'm wrong about this topic, because I know what I'm talking about. You can argue something, okay, but don't tell me I'm wrong, because you don't obviously. So here's the fun part. I looked up his stupid book. I looked up Optics and Photography, SPIE, Optical Engineering Press, 1992, Chapter 5, Depth of Field, specifically the demo on page 91. I looked that shit up. And guess what I wrote? All right. First of all, his experiment was talking about the same size aperture. So they took a camera and they shot two shots, one of the 50 millimeter, 100 millimeter, and they measured the front of the entrance pupil. And yes, the same size entrance pupil does not have the same focal. Both shots have the same depth of field. So a 50 millimeter like f4 would be 100 millimeter f8, right? Yeah. So, but then they would have the same exact size entrance pupil. Like I said, no one talks about entrance pupils. So here's what now jump to page 94 of your book, and you'll see the formula that indicates focal length squared, because even your book suggests that it's much more convenient to use f number rather than the clear aperture. Then jump to page 103 in conclusions in depth of field, section 4, number 4, for the same subject distance and depth of field decreases with increasing focal length. All right, I could have gone on more, but your book itself is saying exactly what I'm saying. Depth of field is a focal length attributes to depth of field, and part of that is again because the entrance pupil can be magnified by the focal length. Anyhow, so yeah, don't argue with me on depth of field. I mean, you can ask for clarification because I'm not always clear. You can ask me something, but don't say I'm wrong because I'm not wrong. Okay, I researched this stuff for years. I'm not wrong. Maybe I made a mistake. That happens, and I will recognize that it happens. But don't ever say I'm wrong. Just yeah. Anyhow, we should talk about what happens on the photon of light as it hits the film to generate an image. But I think quantum mechanics is beyond your expertise. That's not beyond my expertise. I mean, we talked about photon of light is hitting a digital sensor, in that how it basically, when a photon of light hits that silicon atom, it creates a little bit of electrical charge. So it's a photovoltaic effect, right? Now, as far as film is concerned, it like a uh, knocks like a silver ion loose, I believe. So there are some, I don't know. It's just film. I'd like to talk about film, but the thing is, like, I don't have the film experience, and unless I have the experience of film, it just feels more alien. At least he cited sources and was polite. If you tell me I'm wrong and you don't explain why I'm wrong, then it's not polite. Like, well, telling me I'm wrong is not polite. That doesn't deserve politeness. That to me is kind of rude. Like, you're wrong. Here's the source. It's like, well, no, you're wrong. We're not going anywhere. If you like, you can say a disagreement or something like that, and we can have a discussion. But if you say I'm wrong, that's not polite. I'm interested in this guy with his anamorphic lens theory. I don't know. If you deny the fact that focal length plays into depth of field, it just means you don't understand the topic. If you're saying focal length doesn't have anything to do with depth of field, like, you have to make a lot of caveats. Like I said in that video, I said the shape of the oval bouquet is not due to the fact that the iris aperture is oval, because it's not really oval. Like, in the actual lens, the iris is circular. It just appears oval, and I agree that we measure the aperture from the front of the lens, so the appearance of the front of the lens matters. But again, I don't think that's the reason. It's not the reason why. I think the reason why is the focal length differences. Of course, it becomes a semantic argument then, because you can kind of go circular, right? Because the reason why it appears oval is because of the focal length difference. So saying it's one or the other, it is be oval. Well, it's not oval. And the argument, I would say, now the sun's really coming in hard, right? And I would say what do you call it? What am I lost my train of thought because the sun is so. I'm J.J. Abramsing this podcast, this live stream. There we go. We gotta blow up the ship, Captain. Nah. All right. It will get better here in a second. Maybe if I go this way here, you can see my Ana de Armas painting. There we go. Over here. Follow me, and you'll see. Saying saying it's just because the aperture is oval. Again, because of the cell phone anamorphic, which appears oval and it's not. I think is like, it's a half truth. I think it's the actual focal length, but the focal length affects the aperture. Anyhow, let's see. So the aperture of an f-stop is really circular or oval. So is the aperture of an f-stop really circular or oval? And would it matter since light travels in straight lines? Well, remember, light doesn't travel in straight lines in a lens. Like, the whole point of a lens is to bend light. So, light enters a lens and then it gets bent in all kinds of funny ways. And that's how we get focal length, right? Focal length is really, it's kind of ironic because the bigger the focal length, the higher the focal length, the less the light is bent. Right? Think of, like, An infinite focal length would basically be just a spot. Infinitely, it's just one. An infinite focal length would be just literally, I think, a straight line, right? I don't know. Yeah, if light from infinity, yeah, would just be a straight line through the lens. So lenses, because glass bends light, right? Glass has that index of refraction, so it slows down as it enters the medium and it comes out in a different angle. So yeah, you're not going to get a cinematic anamorphic look on a $25 phone camera adapter off of eBay compared to a $10,000 cinema lens. Absolutely. So, and partly also because of the sensor, but it's quite. The reason why is because those lenses are not designed to focus any. They're afocal. They're designed to have. They're designed to basically focus at infinity. So you get spherical and anamorphic lenses. Both have different properties. Oval is anamorphic as the image is squeezed onto the sensor. So the question I was going to get, the reason why you should watch the video because it's worth watching, is why if you just squeeze it, the image coming in, why is it that when we de-squeeze it, it doesn't go back to circular? And the funny thing is, on an anamorphic lens adapter for a cell phone, that's exactly what happens because the squeezing of the light from infinity is only done at infinity, and so therefore it's not corrected for in this. You're not correcting for the astigmatism. The fact that you're correcting astigmatism in like a proper like a high end lens or even in a DIY homebrew system, the fact that you're correcting for that astigmatism causes the out of stuff the bokeh to actually be squeezed not by just the crop, not just the squeeze factor, but by the squeeze factor squared. So that when you de-squeeze it, you just get rid of the squared, and you still have one de-squeeze, one squeeze factor. So the bokeh actually gets squished by the squeeze factor. So it was a video that took me a long time to figure out, and I finally got it, and it was crazy. Do I personally prefer spherical anamorphic lenses? I've never shot on a proper anamorphic lens. I'm very interested in doing so. However, I don't really have the equipment, not only the lens, but the camera I use would be, well, I would just be taking like a 16 by 9 and create, like, probably doing like a 1.6, but I don't think 1.6 is fun enough for an anamorphic. If I'm going to go anamorphic, I need to do 2.0, right? You want that 2.0. I mean, what I could do is shoot 16:9 and just crop off the edges, but then you feel like you're just losing like resolution. There it is. So my Meade LX90 has a 2,000 millimeter lens focal length. So in other words, a 2 meter focal length, which determines magnification, say, is 25 millimeter lens versus a 100 millimeter. Well, which determines magnification with say a 25 millimeter lens versus a 100. So 25 to 100 is 4 times, right? So 100 to 2,000 is 20 times, right? That makes sense. Let's hear a rant about frame rate, shall we? Shall we go? Um, I mean, most of you might be. I'm right now. I'm working a lot on trying to get my NDI system for doing multicam NDI, and that needs to be a video. That will be a video when I get my new shed put together. I will talk about how to do a multicam NDI setup and do it remotely. And frankly, it's amazing. So the cool thing about this right now, you are watching. This camera is NDI. So this camera is a wireless NDI camera. It's an OBS bot little camera. I like it because it's really small and the image is pretty decent. I mean, it's pretty good for like a webcam style thing. It's got auto tracking, and all that, so it follows me around. But this is all sent through my home network. So I mean, I have it plugged in through a USB just to power it, but the actual image is sent through the NDI network. And I've been doing a lot recently because it's not film content. I've been doing a lot in 30 FPS lately. Like almost all my work when I do live streaming is 30 FPS. I don't do 24 because it just doesn't play nice with like broadcast live switching stuff. But if I were to do if I shoot any kind of like commercials or something like that, do that in 24. And it's kind of frustrating too because a lot of times when I do these events, their equipment is not really designed to, like video walls and stuff like that are not really designed to handle, or at least This getting some like weird black sun flare on my fingers there. It's because all the bright. Oh, it's because it's on HDR mode. Turn it off. But anyhow, like a lot of technology that's like video walls and stuff doesn't play so nice with 24. And I'm just like, I'll live with it. I'll live with it being less than ideal. Let's see if I turn HDR off. Oh, there goes my stream. Yeah. If I HDR off, you notice we're not getting they're just completely blown out highlights. And that makes sense. I get down. Oh, super bright. I'm gonna hit that. I want to hit that shade one more time so we can actually just see me here in the next. So one of the things I do want to talk about so I've got one more lecture I got to do on Thursday. Let me just lower that shade. Whoa, that's bright, isn't it? Okay, that's better. All right, so I got to do a lecture on Thursday, and I think I want to do like a hodgepodge of like topics I haven't talked about all semester. And I think one of the topics I'm going to do is HDR, and like what does it mean? Because I actually had one student turn a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot of stuff was like download stuff on the internet, and a lot of stuff was HDR, and oftentimes you would see like pops. It would pop in and out of HDR, and it was weird. Anyhow, have I seen Nora and Conclave? I haven't watched anything except for Penguin. Penguin is awesome. I gotta watch one more episode of Penguin before I'm done with that. Oh, my camera's going nuts. Let's see. Let me over here. All right. I haven't watched much, and that and Killer Workout / Aerobicide. Coke anamorphic lenses just look like cinema, and the bloom on the skin feels like 1/8 Pro Mist. Oh, that's nice. That sounds like a love. Mm. I would love to shoot that. I'd love to try to shoot. I keep saying to my people, I need to shoot a short film. I just need to. Like, I just need to do it. Damn it. I don't know quite what I would do. I just need to do something. Sometimes I wonder if 24 FPS would look off to us in the same way that 30 does if the standard had always been 16 f. Well, I don't know. That's one of those questions where it's like, I'm just looking at the lens flare here. But anyhow, that's one of those questions that always like it's a little bit puzzling. I mean, 16 FPS was the standard for a long time in film, or at least 18 was. What's the 18 to 20 was in the silent era. So I don't, but when they went to 24, I don't think anyone made a hubbub about it. At least there's no evidence of it from back there. I'm surprised you haven't got a black flag on a C stand. You give me more credit than I deserve on a podcast like this, because this is literally just me setting up a shot in my office. Like the less I can do to set this up, the easier. Because if I have to like set up an entire setup for this, I won't ever do this. So I need to like keep it really simple. Otherwise, it just becomes too much of a chore to do. But yeah, we are definitely in J.J. Abrams' time, and expect that to be the case for the next few minutes. We're just gonna go with it. It's gonna be J.J. Abrams here. Anyhow, talking about frame rate. I don't know. Like to me, 30 doesn't look weird. Like you're literally watching this in 30. This is 30 frames a second. Again, it doesn't really matter so much. I can tell the difference because it does feel more video-y. It definitely is a video, so it works, but it works for like podcasts and it works for live events. It doesn't matter for. It's just when you do cinema, it doesn't. It just takes away. You took an edible a little bit ago. Oh, there you go. So, I love how we're in John's like free association mode here. About this time last year, I was kind of depressed, and I overdid an edible. Like I took an edible, and I'm like, I don't feel anything. I'll take another one. Oh my god, it was terrible. It was just horrendous. And so I had met a girl in January, and she was very conservative. And it's like, and I told her like, hey, do you do edibles? And she's like, no. And you're not gonna do any edibles. I'm like, okay, all right. She's like, don't do it anymore. I'm like, all right, fine. Because it's like I just didn't. That was not fun. That really hurt. That was a terrible trip. So I haven't done edibles since, and I'm not sure I really have a desire to anymore because it just kind of like the experience was so bad that I didn't want to do it again. I would be afraid to take an edible for fear it would taste and hear colors. Yeah, I like there's a Simpsons episode where Homer goes and takes ayahuasca and he sees the coyote and all the colors. Like the first time I did an edible, I actually saw that. Like I saw a pyramid of like neons and greens, and it kept like those magic eye things. Like I kept seeing magic eye. I closed my eyes and I would just imagine all these magic eye things, shapes morphing, and it was like it made me dizzy how much it was happening. And so I didn't enjoy that first time. Then I had a couple where it was like, it's okay, it's okay. Oh, that's right, the insanity pepper, not ayahuasca. Yeah, it's the insanity pepper. I mean, the effects are the same. See, the J.J. Abrams is being reduced there. So that's what I experienced the first time I took an edible, and then a couple times it was more like just chill. It was, if you just be a little bit lower on the dosage, it's not like a trip. And then like the last time I took it, it was just so bad. I just don't have any desire to do it. Have I seen the controversy of the Coca-Cola? Yeah, a little bit, but I loved. I actually saw the parody of it before I saw the actual ad. Like the parody was oh my god, you gotta look this up. I'll see if I can find it. It is oh gosh, I want to say it's like the Coca-Cola ad, Coca-Cola AI parody. I can't play it for you. Here it is. It's called AI, except I edited Coca-Cola 24 AI generated Christmas ad, except I edited with. I'll play it for you. Whatever. You just can't hear it because I don't have my audio set up for it properly. I mean, I probably could set it up, but let's take a look here. Let's make this full screen, and so you can see the ad, and uh, and explodes in his face. Oh my god! Like to me, it's Michael Bay version of the Hall of Christmas ad. Everyone's just screaming, explosions everywhere. So look that up, Zueda. Oh my god, I love that. So look that up. That is hilarious. That is so hilarious. I love that ad. So that's what I saw first. I've been going down like rabbit holes of just brain rot AI. Honestly, to be fair, that's literally what I've been doing is brain rot AI. That's all I've been. I am like fascinated by brain rot and like, atrocious AI. What's the one that's on Facebook? It's like AI atrocities. Like I don't know. Just I love terrible AI, and I think David Lynch has this like probably David Lynch is looking at AI going, oh crap, because AI can do the weird shit like no one's business. Yeah, 5 mil. So when I was doing it, I was doing like 10 milligrams. So yeah, that's a little bit hard. I read that licking toads in California was a thing in the 90s. Not that I know of. 30 FPS is usually 20 better than 24 for live streams because the YT converts to 24. That's true. Yeah. And live is just live stuff just tends to be work in 30. And also because part of the thing with 24 is you have to be careful how you shoot 24. You can't just like shoot 24 willy-nilly. Like every movement has to be more controlled. Whereas with 30 and 60, you can move a camera around quicker, and it feels smooth without much of a worrisome. So let me turn the light on. Follow me as I turn the light on. There we go. It's not getting dark here. Ooh, yeah, your tracking's pretty good on this thing. Okay. In fact, I'm out of focus now. Bring me back into focus. Focus me. Avenge me. Focus me. There we go. So I can control a focus through NDI. NDI is a really cool technology. Why does AI look like a badass trip? I think I don't know. You know, like that's I think in a way like that's people kind of like say AI is sort of every when and I watch these really bad AIs, it's like I'm watching dreams, like because things morph. So it's I wonder if like there's a connection between AI and dreaming and like our brains, the way our brains approach like images and they morph into things. And I think my dreams are a little more realistic than AI, but they also my dreams don't make sense half the time. I saw the parody you showed now. The people look worse and more canny than the Polar Bear Express. I know, isn't it? It's hilarious. I love how they're all like freaking out. Oh, you love the Jessica Rabbit? Oh yeah, I love Jessica Rabbit in there. Do you see my uh what's her name? I forget. Lad Princess Jasmine, and then there's Wonder Woman over there, Batman, and oh yeah, see my Faye Valentine. She's shooting her gun at me, and there's Black Widow. So I got design for my next painting I'm going to do whenever I get a chance to. I don't know if I'll have it this week. So I designed this. This is my reference photo. This is Wednesday's Fat Tuesday. So that's what I want to do. So this is my process. I start with a photo with a like photographic reference. This is obviously there's like AI elements of this along with like an AI background, real like beads and all that stuff. So I want to paint this as my next reference. I have to do anything with that. Oh man. How bad does YouTube compress video? I know Facebook just crushes image. I mean, YouTube probably murders video. I don't know. It's one of those things where if you want like I mean there's ways you can upload something, you know. See you later, Jack. There's ways you can upload stuff where it may have less compression. Like if you upload in 4K, it can kind of like trick the algorithm to use a higher compression settings. But most of the time, it's just it's not. YouTube is YouTube. Look, this is a miracle of technology. You can't, if you want perfect projection, go to a movie theater. Yeah, YouTube compression has got awful. Yeah, uh, I mean, it is. I think it's probably better than most stuff out there. I mean, it was better than it was. That's for sure. I think Vimeo at one point was considered better, but then at a certain point, I thought YouTube's compression was better than Vimeo. I think Vimeo was that anything that great to write home about. Are you saying that AI has potential for surrealist AI? That's all I watch is surrealist nonsense. Like it's okay. Okay. I'm gonna show you a little something else. So this is another AI called Atrocious AI. Atrocious AI. And see if I can get the audio to play. Let's see if we can run some audio into this thing here. So let's see. How do I do that? There we go. Maybe we have to add input, add audio. Do audio input. Let's see. I'm not. Oh, maybe that's it. No, that's analog. Let's see. Or maybe it's got to go NDI. Oh, I know. We'll just go here. Change this to add audio. Is that how to do it? Local desktop capture. Desktop. Okay. I don't know how to do the audio. Audio. Maybe I do audio settings. There is no audio settings. Okay. Well, maybe you just won't have audio for this one. All right. Maybe I can turn the audio on my speakers. You can hear it through my microphone. That's probably what we'll just do it that way. All right. See if I can find this atrocious AI. Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay. Deranged AI. Deranged AI is the name of it. All right, here we go. God. Open the hole. Oh my God. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. There's Steven. What the oh, my Lord. Oh, oh. I have not seen this, by the way, so this is the first time I've seen it. Hey, Will Smith. Oh, no, he's going to do, he's going to throw up. No, no, no. Oh, my God. That was amazing, wasn't it? Ah, good Lord. Why is that stuff like so entertaining to me? I don't get it. It's awful. Oh, Lord. Those clips you are showing are creepy and disturbing to me. They are to me too, but I, for some reason, get off on it. Like, I think it's hilarious. I think it's disturbing as hell, but it's something about it. It's like hypnotic. It's like watching a damn train wreck or something. It's just something gross, and I don't get it. Like, why am I obsessed with this garbage? It's brain rot, but it's like, I don't know. It's so hypnotically fascinating. I don't get it. Why do I like this shit? I think I literally lost most of my audience after showing that. Yep, there's that dip. Super big. My God. One doesn't even need a video file to see how bad near black areas are horrible macro blocking. Well, one thing that could be an issue with that actually is if your display is set a little too bright. Because sometimes if your display tends to like bring it down more, like you won't see the macro blocking because it'll be like in the dark areas. So it could be that if you want to, at least if you watch it on lower, like a higher contrast screen or like get your black levels lower on your monitor or whatever you're watching it. Yeah, Netflix is 4K is around 8 megabits and Blu-ray's average is about 40. Yep, that's true. Uh, should tell you how compressed they make the video for streaming. Oh yeah, streaming. So the details on the streaming here. What am I streaming at? I'll tell you. I am shooting up 6 megabits a second. Is how high I'm going today. So that's what you're seeing on my stream. Britcom says, yes, that is atrocious. I don't know why I love it though. It's like, to me, it's the best. I watch that stuff all the time, and I don't know. My brain is probably rewiring itself. And if I were to make a horror movie, I'd probably tap AI because it's just something about AI's ability to make just this disgusting, disgusting stuff. Like it's informed how I would do something if I were to make something that was meant to be disgusting. I would consult AI and then try to do it for real, but then probably not be able to find the same level of disgustingness. I don't know, man. Something about this guy. I'll save you the trouble. Atrocious AI. Look him up if you want to see just how far the rabbit hole goes. Only if you choose the blue red pill. Take the red pill. The red pill will take you down. Hitchcock once asked if he could still get scared by a film. Hitchcock said, "No, I know too much." It's true. Yep, that's not untrue. One of my favorite compliments about students that take my class is like, "I can't watch a movie the same way anymore." Good. I've doomed you all. I think here's my contrarian part of me that would say this. Everyone says that when they get into filmmaking. I can't watch a movie anymore because I'm thinking like that's a medium cut. And to me, okay, that's great. Welcome to the wonderful world of filmmaking. However, that's a newbie problem. That's a noob problem. Welcome. younglings. Welcome, young Padawan, to filmmaking, because once you get around long enough, then that stuff starts to disappear, and now you're looking for everything else, all the technique, and you're looking for the way the lighting will work, and you're looking for every other detail, and then you're enjoying the movie in another level. It's kind of like the way I think probably like me in painting. I guess any art form, right? Any art form that you practice. First, you start noticing the craft, but then after a while, you start noticing how the craft serves the story. And at that point, it's become like then it's enriching. Then the whole experience is much more enriching than rather than just focusing solely on the craft. Like focusing solely on the craft is a newbie's dilemma of any art form. Once you get to the next level, is when you start appreciating craft in service of story, and then it's like, then the whole like it's like it feels like the blinders come off, and then you can just kind of enjoy film in a way that doesn't, maybe more so than most people would normally enjoy it. Most thrillers and horrors give away the jump in the soundtrack, yeah, or they tell you how to feel about anything, right? So actually, one of my students asked me to do a video or do a lecture talk about jump scares, and to be honest, like I can't find much information that's like decent about jump scares. Like, I mentioned cat people as being one of the first in one of my sound videos, and it probably is one of the first because it's one of the first to utilize it that we can find, but I don't know if it is the first. Please look at the video Creepy AI Faces Ruin I Love Lucy box set. Oh, okay. Creepy AI Faces. AI Faces Ruin I Love Lucy. See, I don't know if it's necessarily creepy. I'm not seeing this. Oh, there it is. Uh, I don't. It's AI in the sense that it's what do you call it? Topaz, like AI sharpening and shit like that, or upresing. Let's see. Is there an example? He goes, oh, yikes! Oh my gosh, that's that Topaz nonsense. It's not generative. It's not what we call a generative AI. Here, I'll show you what I'm seeing here. So over there. So, oh my gosh, look at that. Ah! Oh gosh. Yeah. Let's see. Everyone's talking about ground news. Coca-Cola's ad. Yeah. All right, cool. So what's confusing about that is AI. Generative. That's not generative AI necessarily. I mean, it is AI, but it's not the same kind of AI. Oh, you saw cat people in the drive-in theater? There you go. You don't look that old though. You must have saw a re-release, right? Because like the one I'm talking about is from the 40s. I don't think you're that old. Bullet Size says, I'm sure the classic horrors of the 50s would have some jump scares. Yeah, so I mean, so Cat People comes out in the 40s, or no, 30s. Cat People, and it was the Val Lewton film, 1942. Val Lewton film. Basically, Val Lewton here it was produced by RKO, and I'll read the production began in 1942 with Lewton being placed in charge of developing RKO's low-budget horror films. He brought together a team of filmmakers that had worked in the past, including Turner, editor Mark Robson, and screenwriter DeWitt Bowden. Cat People was first film upon which the team worked. They were given the title by an RKO executive who instructed them to develop a film from it. So it was basically Sharknado of 1942. They came up with the title first, Cat People, and they had to make a horror film with it, and they had like very little money. Okay, so here's the thing. During the editing, Robson developed a technique later called Lewton Bus, a jump scare that Lewton used in his subsequent film. So basically, she's walking she's walking down an alleyway and she's like getting scared, and all of a sudden she's like the tempo of the cutting gets scary, and then it goes and it's a bus that pulls up and picks her up. So that's the jump scare. And some people think that that's like one of the first jump scares. Obviously, jump scares can't predate the sound era, right? Like the sound era is necessary for a jump scare. You can't have a silent film jump scare. It doesn't quite work. I mean, you can have. I mean, I suppose like certain things like the reveal of the Family Opera is kind of a. I wouldn't call it a jump scare. Jump scare needs the sound, and it wouldn't be until you had like ability to really edit sound until you could have like a proper modern day jump scare. Anyhow, so yeah, that's the about cat people. Yeah, but you're 61's. You're not that old though. 61's not old. 61, we would have been born in this what 70 or 50s. No, I'm doing the math. You've been born in the 60s. Yeah, this movie came out in 1942. That's 20 years before your time. You're not that old. Oh, you saw the more modern cat people. Yeah, they remake. Any horror movie has like multiple remakes of it. Yeah, I'm talking about the 1942 version. Ravet Rai, you are late. That's unacceptable. Get on the ground, do me 15 push-ups for being late. Unbelievable. Cats are free. There you go. Cats are indeed free. However, pussy is not. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to go with that joke. Don't do it, John. There might be women watching this. I kid. I kid. There's no women watching this. Kurosawa. Kurosawa's High and Low is a masterpiece of blocking, and the first hour is all Gondo's room, and also visually dynamic. Kurosawa uses scope to magnificent effect in such a limiting setting. Yeah. I think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen that one. The Wilhelmina Scream, or Wilhelm Scream. What is the life expectancy of the in the internet world? I would say probably 2 years. Like, you guys wonder, like people that do like daily podcasts or weekly podcasts, like, I mean, obviously no one's gonna watch like a weekly podcast from, like 2 years ago. No one's gonna rewatch a long podcast, and yet we still hold on to them. I mean, I think obviously there's some historical value, like, right, to watch a Joe Rogan from like 10 years ago. I don't know. I jumped out of my seat when the episode of Book of Carol, The Walking Dead, a few weeks ago. Cool. Uh, LOL, self-censored. Never saw your take on this, but have you seen Joker 2? I thought it was okay. Again, everyone hates musicals except for me. And I'm not gay, but I like musicals. And I like Lady Gaga. I think Gaga's pretty good. And I thought the movie was fine. I didn't think it was like anything like remarkable. Like, I wouldn't see it again. I mean, if it was on cable and I might watch it, I doubt I would watch it again. It's not one of those like I'll go see Wicked again. I told a girl I would take her to go see Wicked. But like I'm not gonna go see Joker again. I mean, unless a friend like really wanted to see it, I'll see it. I'll show it to him on HBO Max or something like that. So I don't think it was great, but I enjoyed aspects of it. I enjoyed some of the craft. The craft is definitely good, and it's beautifully shot. So that's not as far as what I remember from Joker 2. The Fois à deux. All right. Topaz AI is not generative AI, but it can still produce unnerving, atrocious results, and the physical media community is scared of its use in few restorations recently, not just in Cameron's. Yeah, I mean, Topaz AI, though, has saved my butt a couple of times. I'm not lying lie. I remember I did shoot I shot something a while ago, and I've got to fight this. Recently, for some reason, maybe it's my eyes are going bad or something, but like I've shot stuff where the focus has been a little bit off, and it's because like I'm not something like I don't quite understand how focusing on these cameras always works, and if I'm in a rush, I may not be like focusing exactly right. Um, but I've shot some stuff that was slightly out of focus, and it killed me. The client even noticed. He's like, "Hey, is there something you can do about this?" I'm like, "I'll try." And back in those days too, it wasn't Topaz. It was before it's called like photo AI. Kind of merged with all this stuff. So basically, what you do is you take the video and you break it down to a series of individual stills, and you run that through the AI sharpening process. And I was able to pull results from it that were better than just being out of focus. So it did save my butt. So anyhow, but yeah, it's one of those things where I think the problem with and it's hard to like how can I say this? It's like basically the problem with AI is a lot of people are being lazy about how to use it, and they're just like slapping it on something, and then they're like, it's okay, or they'll give it a pass, and then won't like look at it really carefully. And let's be honest, that's just the way these. I think people are just. It's just they're just lazy restorations. They're just lazy. That's what it is. It's just lazy restorations. Like no one who saw that "I Love Lucy" thing would have said, "That's great. Let's keep that." No, it's probably they didn't even notice, and they weren't paying attention. And you can get like you just lose attention. You've got to do all this work. You're probably not being paid much, or probably off. They're probably offloading it to somewhere, some country where it's like paid, tiny bits of money to do this stuff, and they just don't care. Because why should they? They're not the original artists. They're not. They're just. It's just a job. So I'll be honest. I'm not a massive musical fan, but I love the Blues Brothers and Rocky Horror. Oh yeah, yeah. Rocky Horror is actually. I would put it. It's not my favorite movie musical of all time, but it's in my top. Well, I mean, it's top 3 or 4. Like I think right now, I think so far. Well, I think Chicago is my favorite movie musical of all time. Like that movie perfectly encapsulates the story and the style and everything about it is just right. Then I might say, I mean, Wicked's going to be in the top 10, if not 5. Wicked is so faithful to the show and all that. I'm trying to think of other musicals. I mean, I'm trying to even go reach back to like old classic. I mean, one of my favorite shows is Guys and Dolls, but the movie's kind of a dreary drudge, honestly. I'm trying to think of other musicals that would put in there. But I would definitely say Chicago. Um, I don't know, but yeah, Rocky Horror. Rocky Horror would be in there. I think Rocky Horror is great, especially if you really pay attention to the lyrics. Like there's a treasure trove to be found in the lyrics if you really pay attention to what they're saying. I just love it. I just love like the science fiction matinee, science fiction double feature. It's like so many nods to sci-fi like movies and all that. Anyhow, there's a great video on YouTube called Three Brilliant Moments of Blocking from High and Low. Incredible that scope can be used to such an amazing effect in such a limited setting. You're talking about Kurosawa there? I was looking at that Movie Wise video. I think Andre Saris' comments on the Trees Griffins Theater. Yeah, I just haven't looked at that yet. There you go. Cameraman tip to get high-end 5 or 7 inch monitor for shooting. I know you're aware, but the built-in, yeah, yeah. So the thing is though, like when I miss the focus, it's because I'm usually on a gimbal. That's usually what it is. And the interviews I'm doing are they're not sit-down interviews. They're like man on the street stuff. So like I'm running around, and that's usually when I get my focus off. And then the other thing I've been shooting with my medium format Fujinon camera is I'm not used to that particular focus on that one. Let's see, do I have that camera around here? What did I do with that camera? It's in here. So yeah, this particular Fujinon camera, the focus on this can be. It's not the autofocus is not known to be super sharp and fast and accurate. And so what will happen is I'll be shooting, and maybe my thumb will hit the thing, and I'll start focusing on the corner. So I got to change it to like more of a center focus kind of thing, especially if I do events. And because it is a larger sensor, even though it's an f4.5, it's gonna be an equivalent of like f3, right? If it's like I think it's zero point 0.7 times. The crop factor is like 0.7, so it's actually a smaller crop factor or a shallower depth of field than you would think at 4.5. It's closer to like 3 or so. And yeah. Ann Boyer says, I love this comment here. Do you wear fragrances? It's kind of cold, and I feel like wearing something even here at home. Oh, we have. I do like fragrances. I have been doing the Ralph Lauren, I believe, is what I do, and then I have a. This is a very odd comment, but I have a beard butter that actually smells of sandalwood, and that's what I wear. There we go. And from Ann Boyer, perhaps a lady, in a first in our stream. So, gentlemen, behave yourselves. In recent UHD, Spielberg Sugarland Express, there are a few uses of AI, but by far worse is a wide shot terribly out of focus. They tried to fix it with AI, and they made it worse. I just wish they wouldn't touch it. just make a scan of the film. Use your AI to do a little bit of what do you call it? Some denoising if you must, but leave it alone for God's sakes. I agree that with the comments that the people who greenlight that AI bullshit in the restoration of I Love Lucy didn't really care, or even bother even looking at the results. Probably, it's literally what they've done. They just don't care. I have a discussion about why AI sharpening. Where is it? Can look strange on film. I think it's because it's sharpening more than the properties of the lens that was shot on with the time. Yeah, like that I Love Lucy example was literally just trying to find a face. And I don't know if you guys ever use the Photoshop AI. Like, you can get some very weird results with it. And actually, I did try to save some. So I did, like I said, I did another grand opening for the Sizzler, and I did a group shot. And again, I should stop down. Like, I shouldn't be shooting an f3. I should be shooting or f4.5. I should be shooting like f8 or f10. Especially when it's doing like a ribbon cutting, and I've got flashes. I don't need to shoot f4. Why am I shooting f4? Damn it! Shoot f8. Shoot f10. That way you can get some actual focus. I mean, you're shooting medium format. Let me tell you something about shooting medium format. All right, you want the detail. That's what makes medium format sing, is the detail. So stop shooting in damn f3. Anyhow. So so that's why. But I did end up shooting it, and it was a little soft. So I used Topaz AI to try to sharpen the faces that were out of focus. And sometimes some of them were like a little bit freaky. But again, I'm dealing with like an 8K image. So when you're viewing at a smaller frame, it's not so bad. But when you zoom in and you look at the details of the faces, like tone it back, tone it back, tone it back. Ann Boyers follows up with, I am wearing the fragrance I Am Trash by Etat Libre d'Orange. I Am Trash. I'm going to look this up now. I Am Trash. Is that an actual fragrance? That's such a weird name for a fragrance. What does that even smell like? I Am Trash. I mean, does it smell like trash, or does it... That's a weird, interesting fragrance. Created in partnership with the award-winning creative network Algovie Paris. I Am Trash, or in French, Le Froid de Déchet. Terrible. Is the first luxury perfume created by upcycling, by using trashed ingredients to create something truly beautiful. It's more specifically by using exhausted rose petals, already distilled sandalwood chips, and even leftover apples from the food industry to create the most beautiful fruity, floral, and woody blend. That is fascinating. Thank you for bringing it up. It maybe needs a better name, but, well, I don't know. Maybe it works. But that does sound pretty cool. I Am Trash. There you go. Am I out of focus? It's the autofocus being weird. It should be in focus now. Yeah. It is always better to crush than to lift the blacks. Yeah, racist. I always get self-conscious when I say, like, all right, just need to crush those blacks. Put those blacks in the basement where they belong. Don't quote me out of context. Damn it. That's okay because you don't want to burn the whites either. So no burn, don't over burn your whites. Don't burn the white people. Don't crush the blacks. I don't know. So I don't know about you guys. Some people might. I tend to enjoy looking into the shadows. Like when I edit, when I color correct, I tend to like to have it canceled exactly. I tend to enjoy uh, like a little more detail in the shadows. Like some people, I think, and some cameras do this, will like tend to err more on crushing blacks and making the contrast images more contrasty. Although to be fair, I'm looking at myself in the VMix right now. I think I look pretty good. I think I look pretty good. Do I look pretty good, Ann? I think Ann would agree. I look pretty good. But when I'm color grading, I generally like to pull a little more detail out of the darks because it just for me, maybe it's also just a subconscious thing for me. Like in the 2000s, we didn't have the dynamic range we have these days. Like you couldn't get so much of the dark the shadow areas to pop. So like I have a tendency to like fetishize the dark the shadows. So I find myself oftentimes when I'm in Premiere doing color correcting, taking that shadow slider and just going up a little bit with it. And then usually sometimes I take the highlights and bring them down. So I kind of like my images a little bit more flatter. Not flat. Like I don't like a flat image, but I want a little bit more detail in the lows and a little bit less in the highs. I'd go for a drink where you are. Too bad I'm in Wisconsin. It's very cold here. Well, it's Southern California. It is a free. I mean, I'm telling you, it's freezing outside. It is 47 degrees outside. Can you believe that? And what are we gonna do? It's 47 degrees outside. Like I'm afraid. Like I might go out and just like freeze to death. Like I would walk outside and a slight breeze, that California breeze, would just like turn me instantly into an icicle, and I would just like, and I would just die, because it's 47. Like, how can people live at 47 degrees? It's terrible. It's awful, right? Of course, I'm joking. Yeah, for someone like me, it's pleasant. It's a pleasant weather. I know. I know from Wisconsin, you think 47 degrees is like summertime for you. Well, I know. Summertime for you is like 80s, but yeah. Malaysian fixers. Greens from Malaysia. What wireless webcam are you using here? I heard NDA part. I'm using the OBS bot Tail Air. I bought it because I saw it on. I got it on a Kickstarter when it just announced it, and I saw it at NAB last year. And at first I wasn't terribly impressed, but as a webcam, I'm loving it. I think it's great. It can do 4K. You're seeing probably 1080 here. Skin tones look good on your camera. Yeah, it doesn't do too bad, does it? Uh, Shows the LED on your face and the tungsten on the background. Yeah, so I think those are also LED, but they're not. They're tungsten balanced, and this is daylight balanced. Yeah, so it's not too bad. I mean, it is web. It's a webcam quality, but it's as far as webcams go, it's not bad. Uh, let's see. Let's see. I saw a guy saying that when any technology explodes, there's a lot of chaos, fear, and misconceptions about it, and how it will be used until eventually the middle term is reached with time. That's great. That's great, sober analysis, which I'm becoming less of because this is not water. It's Sunday. What do you want? It's live stream time. I'm not going to be in trouble. 50 degrees in Florida. I lied. It's not really 47 degrees. What is the temperature out there right now? Well, let's take a look. Right now here, let's see here. It's actually 70 degrees outside. Sorry, guys. It gets as cold as 47. So recently, I don't know if I showed you guys. I have a garden box I made. This two garden boxes I made, but I converted my old birdhouse to a greenhouse. So now I have a greenhouse, and that sucker gets warm during the day in there. It's like 80, 90 degrees in there during the day, And I don't know how cold it gets at night, but I got like 15 strawberry runners going in there right now. So I'm hoping to have strawberries. Is this thing following me or is it stopped? I think it stopped tracking me. That's all right. I have 15 strawberries runners in there, and hopefully I'll have strawberries in the new year. For Andrew Saris, the trees in Griffith are symbols of harmony in nature, while the Antonioni, there you go, are they are symbols of cosmic indifference. I love that. Like I remember as a kid, or at least younger, I would try to think like, how do you like what do colors symbolize, right? And the answer is they can symbolize whatever the hell you want them to symbolize. Like, so what does red symbolize? Well, it can symbolize warmth. It can symbolize home. It can symbolize luck for the if you're Asian, Chinese. It can like red is the color of good fortune for the Asian, for China at least. It can symbolize pain. It can symbolize blood. It can symbolize death. So I mean, all this stuff, right? Florida has great weather, but I love Wisconsin too much right now to go anywhere else. There you go. I've never been to Wisconsin. We should go, right? Poor Billy Wilder and the whole debate between Andrew Saris and Pauline Kael regarding outdoor theater who's hated by both sides. I love Billy Wilder. Yeah, that's a shame. This goes to show you like auteur theory is just bullshit. Anne says, John, I've been waiting to make a short film, but got no story in my dang brain. How do you come up with great story? Well, that's a challenge, you know. Part of it, I think, is establishing something from like real life, you know. And the trick is, part of it is you want to say something in your short film, like you want to make a statement about something or make a statement about society. But sometimes, like that's the worst way to go about it, is to just kind of find a story to tell, or something that can kind of. It's one of those things. So sometimes you just have to pick a story and say, I want to do that, or like I want a vibe, or I want some sort of tell something, and then work with it, massage with it, like sit down and write it, and then see if you like it, and then if you don't like it, or if it doesn't tickle your fancy enough, try another one, try another one, try another one, try another one. I'm curious about NDI setups on multicam on your robotic heads. Are they Ethernet controlled, or you send the video via NDI with Ethernet as well? So this one right now is on Wi-Fi. So NDI has a couple different flavors. There's full-on NDI. Full-on NDI is like high-quality video. If you're doing like work for NBC, you're going to expect a full NDI setup. NDI is video over IP, and full NDI requires about 100 megabits per second per video line. Now, the newest form of NDI is NDI-HX, and NDI-HX is much more like the DV tape of NDI. In fact, you can get it down to like anywhere from 8 to 10 megabits a second, which is much more doable, especially on Wi-Fi. Right? That's what the advantage of NDI. So what NDI does is it's both cross communication. So you're both sending information to the camera as far as like actual control information. You can send tally. You can send intercom. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff to send to the camera, and then from the camera you're also getting the video signal and you're getting audio too. So it's all through one cable. And if your cameras are powered through Ethernet, PoE, power on Ethernet, then you can power your camera that way as well. So literally with these NDI cameras, I've been having success with the new Bird Dog V1 cameras, Bird Dog X1 cameras that is. And I bought an X5 camera because it was X4 camera because it was on sale. And the X4 I think needs some work on the Wi-Fi aspect of it, but yeah, I gotta do a whole video, right? I gotta do a whole video about it. I think it's gonna be in the future. I mean, as in relatively soon future, it's gonna be how we do I can do multicam on location very easily just by running a couple cables, and rather than having to do a big giant setup and all that. Anne says, "Oh, I've been scared on LSD and DMT and whatnot. I'm the clean girl, been for decades now." There you go. You don't have to do that. Malaysia saying, "Many thanks, John. Absolutely." Have you heard of Patrick H. Willems' new film, The Dinner Plate? No. I just hadn't followed Patrick H. Willems for a while because to be fair, I didn't like the whole I didn't like his whole like his content started diverting into two parts where like he'd have his actual commentary and then he had his like ongoing storyline. And like I just didn't I didn't enjoy the online storyline. It just didn't care for it. All right, see you later, Matthias. Have a good night. I'm from the UK, and the weather is rain, rain, and more rain. The rain in Spain happens mainly on the plain, but the rain in London, I mean, that's all you have is rain. You wish you could find inspiration too? I for me personally, if you were if you hold a if you just said to me, John, I want you, I, I want to make a short film. I do. I don't necessarily have any ideas that I want to pursue right now. But if you hold a gun to my head and said you got to make a short film, I'd have like 10 ideas. They're just not great, or they're like interesting ideas, but they're not like particularly. So I get it. You find inspiration. Sometimes it's more about like take an idea and then massage it. So I remember this one quote of a book. I used to love this quote because I did a lot with when I was like blogging on MySpace. The quote was, "It's not that the imagination, it's not solely that the imagination drives the hand, and that it's also the hand drives the imagination." And what I'm saying is, as soon as you start sitting down and said, Ravikant, write a story. Write me a 5-page script due tomorrow. You'll come up with something. Because, I mean, after you get past that first blank page, you will start, if I just give you a basic storyline, I think you can build upon it. So don't necessarily wait for inspiration. Sometimes you have to sit your butt in a chair and just do it. And in the process of doing it, you'll find your inspiration. That's what I think. I think that's one of the things that people miss is like sometimes just doing the fact makes you be creative. You have to do it. You have to be creative. There you go. Yeah. Oh yeah. The act of sitting down to write will force to write a process in the mind. Maybe the act of sitting down to write will force a process. So just write something. Something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be good. Just write something, and you'll find maybe you'll finish it like this is great, but then you come back the next day, this is crap. Well, write something more. Write another something. Not to kind of be inside baseball. Like I feel like I'll give you a story. Like one of my students came up to me, and there's a final project. And first of all, he came up to me and said, he has an A in the class. He's like the highest grade in the class. And he's like, you think I could just not do the final project while I still pass? And I'm like, dude, why would you take this whole class and then not do the final project? It seems like he's like giving up. Like, where's the fun in that? The whole point of this class is to do your final project. He's like, yeah, but I don't have any ideas. I'm like, try something. So he came up with an idea. He didn't like it. Then he came back to me and says, hey, I don't like that idea. Can I change it? I'm like, sure. You can absolutely change your idea. You don't have to do the idea that you thought you were going to do at the beginning. And first he's like, I want to do a day in the life of, first he wanted to do a day in the life of himself. He didn't like that. Then he wanted to do, I want to interview my judo class or whatever. And I said, okay, that's good. He's like, yeah, I don't know, though. But it's like, do you think I could do a thing on video games? I'm like, well, yeah, what do you want to do on video games? It's like, well, I got these ideas about, animation and motion in video games I want to talk about. I'm like, absolutely do that. He's like, really? You think I could do that? It's like, sure, of course you can. Of course you can turn a video in about, video games and your theory on video games or whatever. I want you to do stuff like that. So, and he got, excited. He's like, oh, okay. So hopefully next week or this coming week he shows me a rough draft of that, because I'm open to, and I'm not. I would kid myself if I say teaching video these days, and you're saying, well, you can't do a video about video games. Of course you can do a video game on video games. Video game videos are like a humongous part of the industry or the video landscape, right? Tons of people are making stuff about video games. So. Anyhow. I've always wanted to film a 1950s film noir of a university teacher who comes up with all these backstories for his students in his class. Hat over close whiskey in hand. I love film noir. I love shooting film noir. It's so unfortunate to me. I feel like it's too easy, but it's fun. That's why I want to go back and do those more of the studio videos. Everyone keeps saying studio video. I need to do the studio videos. Hey, Nick Mana Steph, an academic cinematographer, told me a few days ago that limitations and constraints are the beginnings of creativity and freedom. Do you agree? Yes, absolutely. I think limitations and constraints are truly important because when you don't have those, that's when you get crap. Which is why movies that rely on CGI are so terribly uninteresting. That's why things like Jurassic Park are still considered one of the highest moments of VFX. Right? We still consider Jurassic Park like a high watermark when it comes to VFX because um, they had constraints. They didn't have perfect technology. And now we have extremely perfect technology, and it's boring, and that's sad because it can have all these great technology doing all this stuff, but it's boring because there's no constraint, there's no creativity. There is lack of creativity because you just like do whatever you want, fly the camera all the way through here. Oh, like there's this one guy that makes those drone videos, first person drone videos where they fly through the entire. And I gotta admit, I think they're tech as a craft, they're technically beautiful. But like after seeing a million of them, like, what are my thoughts on the Minecraft movie? I have none. I have none. It's Steve. Hi, I am Steve. And I'm like, I mean, I've played Minecraft, but I don't care about Minecraft. I mean, I played it. It's fine. It's fun. Ah, Driving content. I'm glad to join the stream. I had a feeling down since late afternoon. Oh, that's a shame. Well, welcome to the stream. I am. See, I think I was going to say my inside baseball with my students is I feel like one of the things I do for my students is I want to be their cheerleader, and in maybe if you guys would be willing here, if I'll be your cheerleader, because I think we need cheerleaders in our lives to like, especially if we're starting out with film. If you don't know what you want to do, you need someone to kind of say it's okay to do it this way. It's okay. Uh, like uh, like like one of my teachers for painting was a cheerleader. Not necessarily like here's what you got to do, and they kind of let me do my own thing, and they can kind of offer a little bit of suggestions here and there. Although I feel like I'm very much like learning on my own, but I kind of go to class just to kind of be around people. But having that cheerleader like support and like yeah, go for it, go for it, go for it, versus like the intense scrutiny and negativity of real life or even YouTube sometimes, or it's just like if I don't get this absolutely perfectly right, then YouTube comments are just going to nail me for saying I should have said aperture instead of f number instead of f rate, whatever crap. Like sometimes people just need cheerleaders to kind of go and be the best they can be. And I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad hopefully that you can sit down and write something, or sit down and write some story, and get it out there, get it out there. Nick says one of the things he mentioned is that current generation dives into chaos because of fewer limitations today. I don't think they're wrong. I think that, or I think he's onto something because I do feel like there's a lot of chaos, a lot of chaos, a lot of chaos. Yeah, YouTube is such a spiral of gear porn and zero focus on storytelling. That is the problem. And the thing is, though, like I have to warn you about that because I remember as a Reddit thread about this topic. The fact is, you cannot make it on YouTube talking about storytelling. I mean, maybe one or two people can, maybe like a Tony Zhao, but even then, it's the problem is at least you can't get into a deep discussion about storytelling because it doesn't get clicks, you know. And that's the very sad thing about YouTube is a lot of the discussion that happens on YouTube, the content on YouTube is driven by algorithms that don't necessarily reward talking about things that are important, like storytelling, right? I can make a video about storytelling and it will not do well because it's not, and I can do a video, it's a review of a piece of gear and it will do better. And if I make a ugly face and say it's the worst thing I've ever experienced, it'll give you more views, right? And I can't help but blame the audience, to be frank with you, right? Like don't blame the creators, blame the audience because they're not seeking the stuff out. And I don't know, I'm guilty of it too, right? Like I don't necessarily sit down and watch all these videos that are like about storytelling, right? So it's a lot of, and again, blame the masses, I guess if you want to say it that way. Blame the masses, and that's the way the algorithm gets, right? It's the way the algorithm works is it goes where the masses go. And if you got people that are like angry and yelling at stuff, people will watch that. Will go watch that because it's instant hit of excitement. But so I think story wise is just understanding how story is told. I don't know. It's tricky, right? Because everyone says they want to start a group and focus on storytelling. Believe me, I would love to do that, but it's hard to get a foothold on that kind of topic. And even that's the thing. Even like people like in every frame of the painting, right? I think you can you can make a few videos that are very insightful and very like, wow, this is really cool. And then the problem is, what happens is eventually it will like sort of you start reaching and reaching. And I think toward the end of his first run, I think he's back or something. Like some of those videos were so like far reaching in order to try to make a profound statement that they missed. They were so like trying to make a grand statements about like the one that got me was the movie music. He went off about like movie music, how like Avengers doesn't have any theme songs, but it does, and anyhow, I'm not saying he's a classic legendary creator, and it just the problem is I think part of that what I'm trying to say is like blending with this topic of audience capture, like the audience is expecting a certain type of video from him, but can he always deliver that same video because you can't always perform that level, especially if you've got an audience after. If an audience is following, like a lot of people keep saying, John, you go back and make like technical videos. Like, okay, but like I gotta find topics I haven't covered yet. And once you cover a lot of the topics, like you're not, and once you've watched enough videos about depth of field, another video on depth of field is not going to teach you anything. You're not going to have that aha moment with another brand new depth of field because you've already had that aha moment. I've got to talk to another. I've got to go to another, another topic. Anyhow, I don't know where I'm going with that. Maybe it's all this. Merry Christmas, says Stereo. There you go. And Boyer says, yeah, I'm probably why I've been having no stories of mine too. Just keep seeing the camera, that camera, and this lens and that lens. I confess to being sucked into it. I'm with that. I'm with you too, right? Because it's a completely mind shift to think about, you know, story, right? I've got like a few little plot points I can put down real quick. I don't know. Part of me also really wants to take time to light something. Like I have not, honestly, I've shot the only lighting I do is for talking heads, and that is literally the same lighting over and over again. So I haven't lit anything like actually properly lit and take my time and craft a light and craft a scene. Like I haven't had time to do any of that in years, and it pisses me off. I want to do some lighting. I want to be able to take some time and do some lighting, do it right. I really want to do that, but I also want to do like an actual, story. But part of that too is like, sometimes for a small budget, sometimes you just gotta not worry about excessive lighting and be more nimble, be more quick with your lighting, and not necessarily craft a light that's like commercially perfect. I was just watching that Hoyt, I forget his last name, Hoyt van Hoyen ad for Volkswagen, and the lighting in that looks great, but it doesn't look like classic commercial lighting. Right? It doesn't look like advertising lighting. It looks like lived in and natural lighting, and I mean it's great. It looks good, but it doesn't look it doesn't look like your typical Ogilvy Brothers advertising commercial kind of thing, right? So anyhow, I don't know what my point is. I want to do something. I want to shoot something. Damn it. There is a motion from viewers where we are complaining to creators for videos for 10 minutes for something. That is just a damn thing to show. I'm not sure you know what I'm talking about. There is a motion from viewers where we are complaining to creators for videos of 10 minutes for something that is just a damn thing to show. I'm not quite reading that properly. Can you rewrite that so I can understand what you're saying? Would you make your own movie? Yeah, I would. I would definitely. I don't think I would tackle a feature without more money because the feature is a huge amount of investment, time, and money that I would need to have like um, actual backing from that. But I would definitely shoot a movie. Tony and Chelsea Northrup, your gear does not matter. And I say for the most part they're right. But gear is fun. And gear does somewhat matter for some things. But no, it doesn't matter. Wisconsin has nice scenery. There you go. I know. We should go to Wisconsin and hang out. Now that you have your studio near you, you can do some night building. I work when I had a studio. My studio was only like 10 minutes from my house at the time, 15 minutes. I would be there late anyway. So nights have never stopped me from working. It's just now that my commute to my bed is now literally minutes. Or not, it's literally seconds now rather than like 10 minutes. So I can even work even later. Can you share some opinions on Fujifilm mirrorless digital cameras? Have you used any of them? Here's a Fujifilm right here. Yep, see right there. I think Fuji's colors are slightly. How can I say? I don't know if they're better than Canon, but they're definitely on par with Canon. Like as far as the colors are concerned, like I love the color out of the. Come on, it's not focusing on me anymore. Like I love the look of the Fuji photos. The colors are really, really nice. Really nice. They are nice. They are. Yeah, so the colors on the Fujis are really, really nice. I like on the Fuji, that's the GFX 50, which is a medium format. It's a little bit bigger than your, 30 full frame, so it's a little bit shallower depth of field and all the goodness of a larger format. Not by much. It's not like such a noticeable thing. What was I going to say? Other than the fact that the colors are great. I've not shot any video on that because it can only do 1080 video, and like, what's the point? But yeah. Am I friends with other YouTubers? Not really. I mean, I know of people. I've met a couple of YouTubers, but not really like friends. Although Captain Disillusion likes me, and I always thought he was cool. So that's cool. You'd be better to hang out with than my mom here. Well, maybe I'd hang out with your mom too. I don't know. I think moms generally like me, except my ex-girlfriend. Well, my mom, when I met her, she said, he doesn't open doors and pull out chairs for you. Bad. And I was like, oh shit. I didn't realize I was supposed to do that. Because I thought, women's lib and all that. And then I tried to pay for half of I met her mom on the third date. I tried to pay, but she was like, no, I've got this. I'm like, all right. Should have just insisted. Oh, well, whatever. And she eventually warmed up to me, but that relationship didn't go anywhere anyway, so whatever. John, I was wondering what you do personally think of the effect of camera movement style emotional impact of viewers, like handheld show reg smooth. Oh, yeah, big time. I was watching one of the Penguin like after the show, they do a little interview with people, and they said basically when the pen like they when they wanted the feeling to be more like nerve wracking, they would go handheld. You know, they go they go handheld, and then it feels like you don't know what's going to happen. It's a little more, you know, what's happening here. Gosh, and then when they wanted the shot to, if they wanted something to feel like it's more grounded, they would go either Steadicam or gimbal or something like that, where it's more smoother. So absolutely, all that stuff, how you handle the camera affects the emotion of the shot, right? We be doing the Dutch. Don't be doing Dutch dirty. What did the Dutch do to you? Don't be doing them. I should have paid, but my mom went just full on bought lunch for us. So I don't know. Now lesson learned, but still. Yeah, no, that was. But then she told me that, and then she told her mom that she told me that her mom said that, and the mom was super embarrassed. I'm like, oh well, whatever. That relationship didn't last for more than 5 months, so whatever. Yeah, I think it depends on the narrative that dictates by the motion. Absolutely. Yeah, like for example, the handheld and Bourne series versus steady motion. Virtually all David Fincher's movie. Fincher really does shoulder rig. That's true. Yeah, but I mean, that's also a stylistic choice too. Like I think Fincher takes like a methodical and almost clinical approach towards his films, where they become very, very, like purposely driven movements. Right. Again, it's all style. It's all like there's no one size fits all kind of thing. But the Bourne series, man, I saw the first one sitting in the second row. Oh my God, it was the worst experience. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, many women still care about that. I personally don't. I know. I just, I should have. I'm not saying I was right. I'm just saying that it's what it was. I just didn't know. I don't know. Sometimes women are wanting to be that. I'm my own woman. I can pay for my own dinner. Last date I went, I paid for it. And I didn't. There was no discussion, and it was not even. She expected me to pay because I told her I was going to take her out, and I was happy to. So we'll see how that one goes. She's off in Germany right now. I don't know. I don't think she's watching. Do you like Fortnite? Not really. I think I played like one or two games, and I was so bad at it, I just like literally like, nah, I'm not gonna. I like games that are puzzles or like puzzle builder simulators. So right now my jam is Dyson Sphere program. I got back into it again. I've been playing that on and off for like 2 or 3 years or whatever it is. And yeah, Dyson Sphere, developing my own factories. Another game I really liked was Transport Fever 2, which was a game for like building a transportation logistics network. I know it sounds extremely boring, but to me they're fun because you're trying to problem solve and then the Transport Fever is sort of like playing like a miniature railroad. So it's pretty, and you have trains going and land, and delivering stuff. And Dyson's sort of like that because you have interplanetary factories, and they're sending stuff here and there, and you see all the little things flying everywhere. So that's the kind of games I like to play. Anmoy says we gotta be fixing half of men's stuff, and we don't mind. But I taught my men in my life a lot of things. There you go. See, I honestly believe, and this is going to become John's. Now we're going to get into John's emotional camp. We're gonna get together. We're gonna cry it out. We're gonna cry it out. I believe that men and women, believe it or not, should get along. No, I just believe. Like I hate this whole like men versus women kind of thing. I think that men have experiences that women don't have, and I'm sure women have experiences that men don't have. And like I'm gonna be real fucking blunt here. Okay, should I say this? I don't know if I should say this or not. I'll just say it. I'll just say it. I'll just say it. Okay. So when I was dating, it was my first time I was dating a girl, and I was like, I'm fascinated by your whole biological process. It doesn't like make me like most men would like, ew, I don't want to understand this, but like to me, it's like kind of interesting. You mean once a month your uterine wall sheds its outer lining, and I read up on it. I read up all of it, and and I was trying to understand it, and I was trying to time it and try to figure it all out. It didn't like. I didn't get to like. I didn't witness it, but I wasn't afraid of it. Anyhow, I was just trying to say I probably shouldn't be streaming when I'm drinking watermelon margarita. That it's just that seeing like men and women have a lot to learn from each other, and we shouldn't be afraid of doing that. Like, there's nothing wrong with learning from women. That's why I don't mind seeing chick flicks because I kind of want to learn what women experience, and I want to learn how women think, right? And I'm sure women probably like to see male movies because sometimes they want to see what the males think, right? You know, I don't know where I'm going with that. Other than saying that, I thought the killer workout aerobicide was pretty damn good because there's a lot. Even it had nudity in it, which is fine. I enjoyed that for sure. But even the aerobics like cutaways with a lot of girls humping the ground was very entertaining. And I think women would instead of just saying, "Oh, that's gross," like, yeah, that's what guys do. I have no idea where I'm going with this. But you're the only girl on stream, so we get to talk to you. A lot of us should be learning from each other. I guess I watch films like Men to see what the fuss is about. Sometimes I don't like some of them. Yeah, and like I watch women's films, but like I don't, some films like the marvelous Ms. Maisel. All right, so the first episode had something for the guys, and that's when she like takes her top off and she's like, "Look at these boobs, and you're never gonna get them again," and like they just milk that. Oh God, sorry for that pun. So they kind of they kind of use that for the rest of the season, but like the second season became much more that Gilmore Girls style comedy, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I had lost interest in that show. Orange is the New Black, another example, but then it became too. I mean, the first season had some interesting parts, but then it became like a little too. I just don't care. The girl power stuff is just not enough for me. Anyhow, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just blabbing. Let's get to another comment. A monopod would make it more steady than a purely handheld. Monopods are really only useful for shooting on the run. It's monopods are mainly used not by filmmakers, although you can use it as a video tool. It's mainly used for sports. It's for a person to get out there and sports photography. We need to get a shot, so you have something to lean your camera against, especially for a very heavy lens. A monopod's like a necessity because you don't want to be sitting on the sidelines, a big giant heavy lens. You're constantly bouncing around. Put on a monopod, you can lean against somebody, you can shoot something like that. So a monopod for video, not very useful actually, unless you need to move quickly. I might have a person use a monopod on this parade. I don't know if it's a good idea because they don't really have a lot of experience. I might just give them a tripod. Like there's nothing really on a monopod you would get that you. I mean, there's a couple things you can do on a monopod you can't do on a tripod, but most cases I would say go for a tripod. If you were asking me, John, should I get a monopod or a tripod first? I would say get the tripod first and then get the monopod eventually if you want to get that. Anyhow. Whatever gets you the shot. I'm not knocking your technique. Just watching the wording was funny. Yeah, I think so. The weight of the monopod said, yeah, it does. Yeah, that's true. I mean, just the whole idea of moving the center of gravity away. What are your thoughts on Family Guy? I got some interesting thoughts on Family Guy. I'm not a big fan of Family Guy. Not my favorite show. One thing that gets me about Family Guy is what I don't like about Family Guy is that instead of making parodies of stuff, they just redo stuff. You know what I'm talking about? So there's a parody of, or not even a parody. It's like there's the Captain Kirk, William Shatner, Tambourine Man video, right? Or Rocket Man. I'm a Rocket Man, soaring through the sky. There's a video of William Shatner doing a serious, proper like reading of Rocket Man, the lyrics of Rocket Man, and then Family Guy. Well, what they'll do is they'll have Stewie do the exact same thing. And the thing that bothers me about it is it's not funny because it's not creative. It's he's literally copying it. They're not commenting on it. They're just taking the exact same thing and having one of their characters do it. I saw one. There's that meme where the guy's like driving the boat real fast and the girls in the bikinis, and then they hit the water and they hit the water and then they hit a big one and then he just goes straight down and then everyone flies out of the. And Family Guy did that, but the thing is, it was just a shot for shot thing, and it bugged me because it's like there's nothing funny about it. It didn't add anything to it. So, uh, I try to watch crap like The Expendables, but they ain't nothing does nothing for me. Believe me, you're not alone on that. Expendables doesn't do a whole lot for me either. John Wick might be a better example if you want to watch a more guy movie. John Wick. What are my thoughts on Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? Didn't even see it. And don't really have any thoughts on WWE or UFC. I don't really like UFC. I don't like the whole. I just don't like. I don't like fighting sports. Just don't. It's not my cup of tea. Oh my gosh. Hey, my ultimate favorite is Easy Rig. Got to worry about saving my back. Oh yeah. Easy Rig apparently is pretty hard to utilize though. Easy Rig with a serene arm has saved my back with a cinema camera. Oh, interesting. I just don't think I could get. Doesn't Easy Rig require a little bit of finesse, like actually work on it, like actually like practice with it, or is it just pretty straightforward? ISO Factor says it tastes like nostalgia. You're talking about Family Guy stuff. Yeah, but it's not even nostalgia. Like I just wish they would make fun of it or do something. Uh, does the arm help steady the shot in comparison to Vanilla's Easy Rig? I'm not sure. You guys figure that out because I've never used an Easy Rig. If answers it with yes, the spring takes some of the shake out of the shot. It's not perfect, but it's very nice. There you go. Do you like The Simpsons? Yes, I grew up on The Simpsons. I was born into The Simpsons. The Simpsons defined me up till about seasons, probably 10 or so. Then after that, I've almost no recollection of anything that happened after season 10. But like at least first 7 seasons were my childhood, and I literally quote them all the time. Like if something's good, something happened that like as a minor victory, I'll say, everything's coming up Millhouse. Like that's my favorite thing to say. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Put in your name, Thrill Ho. More straightforward than Steadicam. I mean, does it steady like it? No, no. EasyCam shouldn't steady like EasyCam's more about just taking the weight off of it, but it's still got. So I mean, the reason why Steadicam works the way it does is because you're taking the camera and you're moving the center of gravity from the camera off. You're offsetting the center of gravity, and then basically you're trying to control the camera from a longer distance. It's sort of the same idea like if you were to do a tightrope walking. You ever see those tightrope walkers and they use those really long poles? That's to steady themselves on the rope. Or when you're walking, that's why you hold your arms out as you walk a tightrope kind of thing, right? That's what a Steadicam is. You're removing the center of gravity off of the camera and putting it down further, and then adding weight to it too. So that's the whole concept of Steadicam. And with Easy Rig, I understand it's just a string that comes down and takes the weight off the camera. So you're not actually removing the center of gravity. The center of gravity of the camera is still in the camera itself. So you're going to have the wobble in that center of camera, in the center of gravity in the camera itself. I hope that makes sense. I need to eat something. Simpsons do not grow old. Bart Simpson is still like in the 5th grade, and it's been 40 years, or I don't know, 30 years. Yeah, it's been like 30 years. He's still in the 3rd grade. The guy will never ever leave the 5th grade. I remember in the season, like I think it was season 2 or 3, when Bart graduates 4th grade. And the next, he's like, that was the, he's like, I can't graduate fourth grade. I can't graduate fourth grade. And Mrs. Kerbopple is like, you know, like, and he's like, oh, I feel so dejected. Like when George Washington lost at Valley Forge, the famous defeat of George Washington at the Valley Forge or whatever. And Miss Crabapple was like, oh, you demonstrated applied learning. I'm going to pass you. So he passes from fourth grade to fifth grade, but his teacher is still Mrs. Crabapple, and he's still been Mrs. Crabapple. Well, I don't know. I think Mrs. Crabapple died. Like, I don't know, in the later season or something like that. I don't know. I haven't followed it since, but yeah. There you go. So bullet sign says easy rig is tailored so the tension of the string the exact way the camera floats in front of you. The serene arm allows it up and down motion. There you go. So piggybacking on that, the serene rig, the easy rig, then if you're basically counteracting the weight, so the center of gravity on the cameras is actually going to be exactly where it is. You're just countering the weight of the camera. So you're not moving the center of gravity. So therefore, you won't have that same kind of floaty effect that you will with a Steadicam. Looking up the Easy Rig thingy, and it scared me the way it looks. Yeah, put some handcuffs on that thing. We can have a good time. I'm sorry. Didn't mean that. Seeing that. Terrible, John. Terrible joke. My bad. All right. What else is happening? I got through all your comments. How many do we have here? How long have we been streaming for? LOL. Thank God. That could have gotten me in deep humanity trouble. HR. Get me in trouble with the HR. I have to do. They asked me to do a musical next year called Susical, and it was November when it started. Are you in front of us in time zone? Well, that's a funny joke. They asked me to do a Susical the musical next year for the high school to play trumpet in it, and I'm going to play second trumpet, I believe. And the thing is, this year they're making me fill out all the paperwork to become I gotta get my air quotes, coach this year because I don't know why they want me to be a coach, but I'm going to be a coach this year. And I've got to sit through like 10 hours, well, not 10 hours, but at least probably like 6 or 7 hours of HR nonsense. So to learn to, I got to do a online CPR course, which I don't know why you do an online CPR course. I don't understand what that is. But I got to do all that. So that's what I got to do. All right, so how long have I been on? Have I been on long enough? Has the algorithm gotten enough of me? Go for a little longer. Oh my gosh, no, it's been 2 hours. Oh, hang out for a little bit. Then I gotta get going and eat some dinner. Because this watermelon margarita is getting on me. I want to see all my Christmas lights. I just set up Christmas lights today. I want to see what they look like. It's dark now. I gotta put the timer up too for it. So I can turn it off at a certain hour. I bought a timer and then my neighbor gave me a Wi-Fi one. I'm like, all right, I'll take the Wi-Fi one. He's like, hey, I bought a bunch of these. That's not what he sounds like. Oh. The Easy Rig aren't made for women, are they? Where did my teat go? Okay, you know who actually mentioned that? Is Valentina V. On Twitter. She was saying something about that. Let's see if we can find that. X.com. Valentina V looks great, by the way. She lost like 45 pounds. And she's like the head of one of the studios. What do you call it? She's head of what's that studio? Curiosity Stream or something like that. She's like the lead cinematographer there. Oh, the Flowtech 75 carbon tripod is $1,300. That's a lot more for me. All right. Let's see. I'm just gonna look up her thing. She had a whole thing about where to put if you're a woman in the Easy Rig. They do a one strap version that go under the chesticles. There you go. Yeah, I mean, what about men who have, ample bosoms? Where's the love for those guys? Not all of us have shapely pecs. Some of us have. Well, actually, the weird thing is, I do have pretty. I don't have an ample breasts. I actually have a pretty flat. I'm pretty flat chested, believe it or not. It's my belly that's a little different. If they weren't so damn expensive, they are pretty pricey. Doesn't that equipment have nipple ring stabilizer? There you go. That's probably what you need. Defining gravity. Okay, I love that. All right, I'm just gonna see if she had one. Eh, yeah, I probably have to go way, way back in order to find it. She had a whole thing about talking about the easy rig and how to do it for women. All right. Anyhow. All right. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Why is this thing comment still on here? No, it's not nipple ring stabilizer. Enough of the nipple ring stabilizers. They're not a thing. You make them want to be a thing. It's not going to happen. Stop making nipple ring stabilizers happen. It's not going to happen. This is embarrassing. All right. So, before I continue embarrassing myself on stream, anything else we want to chat about? I should probably get something to eat and look at my Christmas lights and set up my timer for those Christmas lights, and then maybe take a bath, because I'm a little bit sore. And a little sore. Oh god, I just had a spike in viewers. No, don't do this to me. There we go. Bullet Science says, it's coming through my. Oh, crack. Worked in a rental house to answer a few of those questions from female operators. There you go. Yep. All right, Ann, I'm going to get going too, but I'm going to hang out for a little bit more in case anyone has anything last minute. Everyone's just checking out, hearing my lovely voice. Well, anyhow, maybe I should get going as hell. All right, well, it has been 2 hours and 16 minutes. I'm watching the replay of myself doing the whole like breast thing. That's embarrassing. Yep, this is gonna be an embarrassing stream to look back on. Let's not do that. All right, guys. Well, I never did do what I wanted to do this stream, which was talk about what I was going to talk about for this week's lecture. Real quick, I was thinking about doing HDR. I'm thinking about maybe doing technology of screens, so I can explain how that works. HDR, and maybe that will do it as far as, I think that will cover a lot of what we need to talk about. All right, guys, I am taking off. Later, bullet silence. We will see you guys probably well, I don't know, next weekend I might be busy. I'll figure out something to do. We'll do another stream within the week here. Have a good time. All right, guys. Well, I shall see you guys later, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Fade to black.